How to block a simple crochet shawl. Happy Saturday, everyone. I'm getting ready to block the very first shawl in the Lacy Cakes collection of shawls that I'm releasing. And what that means is I used one lacy cake. A lacy cake is a 5-color self-striping center pull cake of yarn featuring 5 of my hand-dyed colorways of Be So Fine yarn. Just as with all of my other yarns, every single hank comes with a free pod of Rapture, my all-natural delicate wash. It's the only yarn on the market that comes with free Rapture. You simply open it, place it in a bowl of water, give your shawl a quick wash. I've now pressed out the water and I'm getting ready to block it. I've laid it out on some blocking boards to get an approximate shape going first, and what I'm going to show you now is how I block it to perfection. I start by pinning the center and the 2 ends at the top sides of the shawl just to get a good shape and get it nice and centered on the mats. After that, we're going to start finessing it. We're going to start by working at our midpoints between the last 2 pins. And that is what I basically do for the rest of the shawl. So we're going to start with the midpoint, then the midpoint between these 2, the midpoint between this one and the one out here. See if I can get that back on camera. There we go. Midpoint between these 2. Midpoint between these 2 out here. And the midpoint between these 2 over here. We'll probably come back to this portion after we work on the edge, but I'm going to flip this around now so I can work on it and you can still see what's going on. This particular colorway of Lacy Cakes goes from Passionate Plum, Stormy Sea, Chantilly Lace, Sun-Kissed Yellow, and Lilac Memories. Let's see, we'll get this perfectly, try to get it as close as I can on camera. Okay, so we're going to start by pinning the very center. And for those of you that are interested, this is a free pattern and it will be released on my website on Monday morning. And it is the kind of project that is perfect for taking to knit night, crochet night, or traveling, or anytime you just want to really relax and zen out when you're crocheting, because it's a very simple pattern that really has only one repeat. The only row that's a little bit different than that is the final row where we do these pin tucks to create a really dramatic scallop. So we're going to start by pinning in the center, and we already pinned up at the corners. So now I'm going to try for a midpoint between the 2, but first I want to show you where I've got all those scallops. So there's the corner down here by my left hand. We've got the corner up here by my right, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pin tucks. So, and that'll make more sense when you get the free pattern. Just go to my website, KristinOmdahl.com. It'll be there on Monday. And we're just going to start pinning in the center of that giant dramatic scallop. And we'll pin halfway between it and the tuck, and halfway again between the center pin and the tuck. And I'll just keep doing this and working in the halfway midpoints until I get a nice scallop. Sometimes to get it perfect you might have to readjust, but working from the midpoints gives you a great starting point. Okay, so our middle one is done. Now we could go either to the right or left, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go to the left and pin to the middle of the bottom one, and then come across here, pin to the middle of this one, and pin to the middle of this one. And then we'll come across and do this on the other side just so we're staying nice and balanced. And I'll pin to the middle of each one of these, and then come back and do that detailed pinning like I did on the very first one. This is going to be so pretty. And that kind of a scallop border gives it such a fancy look, even though honestly this pattern, you start with the first row and you repeat that only row for the entire shawl. You're really just letting the yarn do all the work for you. The fact that the yarn switches color 5 times in these 5 gorgeous hand-dyed colors means a lot of the work is already done for you. And so you just repeat this one pattern throughout. It's just nice and relaxing, the kind of project to take with you on the go or for a night when you just want to zone out with your yarn. Now, I know that I happen to be very fast at crochet, and that's because it is my profession, but I have to tell you, this is a 650 yard shawl, and I was able to complete it starting at 9 o'clock last night, and I'm already blocking it at 3:30 in the afternoon the next day. Crazy, I know, and maybe that's just because I'm crazy fast, and not that I'm trying to brag or anything, just trying to point out that this is the type of project where if you had the time to dedicate to it completely, you could get it done really, really quickly. Otherwise, it's still an extremely simple and easy project that you can do with whatever time you have on your hands. And the beauty of that kind of project is if it's something you have to stop and start a lot, then it doesn't take much time to remember where you were at. Oh, these scallops are looking amazing. And not only is it important to do design elements like that to create this type of a dramatic scallop, but the beauty is in the blocking. And it is while we are blocking that we are taking full advantage of this design detail. There we go. And see how I'm adjusting as I go. It really is important to always pay attention to your symmetry and adjust as you go if need be. Hey Marion, thanks for joining me. Oh yes, absolutely. I think that this is one of the most important steps in creating a finished piece that you love, and that is to block it so that you can see all of the beauty of the stitches that you so carefully made. And it really is important to be patient and do a nice, slow and deliberate job when you're blocking. It really will make a huge difference in your finished project. And so now that I've worked along the bottom here, you'll see that this edge isn't staying as straight. So I'm going to come in and grab a few more pins to make sure that this doesn't scallop. I prefer for this edge to be a lot more straight. But because of the added pressure on it now, because of the scallops, it's making it pull down in between the pins. So if I just put a few more pins up there, it will adjust for that. And I may have to do more of this after I flip it over again. So let's go back and do the second half of our lower edge of the scallop. Oh, I can't wait to turn this around to show you in the same view I'm seeing it as. It's a perfect blend of simple stitches to accentuate the color work and also the drama of these cinched positions on the shawl is really adding to the drama of the color work. This whole first collection for Lacy Cakes, I was inspired by geodes. If you're not familiar with what a geode is, you might after I describe it. You know, like in science class when you would see a rock that was sliced in half and you would see the inside, and the inside would have really bright contrasting stripes of different colors and crystals and sparkle, and I've often seen them as decorations in jewelry, just taking a slice of a stone and that geode being the actual jewelry, or even I've seen them as coasters before with gold foil around the edge. And I just find it so beautiful that something so dull and boring on the outside could be so vibrant and dramatic on the inside. And I thought that type of an inspiration was a great starting off point for a self-striping yarn, because as you see, you get a lot of drama in the stripes. So that was the inspiration. This particular colorway is called Amethyst Geode because it really reminded me of the colors in some of the photos that I saw online. You know, just because it says amethyst doesn't mean the whole thing's purple. Inside a stone, the different crystals and the different layers are often different colors as well. The predominant color is purple in amethyst, but there was a lot of sparkly gold and some blue and even some crystal quartz. So I felt like it was a perfect inspiration point for this colorway. Ooh, we are in the home stretch here. Still going to keep adjusting as I go. Let me get this back on camera if I can. And then this will give me an opportunity to straighten out this edge up here as well. Now after you pin your shawl, you'll just want to let it sit here and dry. If you happen to be in a colder climate or a more humid climate, the addition of a fan, whether it's a ceiling fan or an oscillating fan, like a fan on a stand, would be very helpful in making a shawl dry quicker. Helps with anything that you lay flat to dry. Anytime you can add some movement to the air, it will help it dry quicker. Okay, we are just about done. The only other thing that I would suggest at this point is to try to take a step back and make sure that your right to left side is still symmetrical, but allow me to show you this beautiful and super simple shawl pattern. It's part of the Lacy Cake Shawls. This one is done in Amethyst Geode colorway, and that is a self-striping yarn of Passionate Plum, Stormy Sea, Chantilly Lace, Sun-Kissed Yellow, and Lilac Memories. The whole shawl is done in a one-row repeat, perfect for travel, party, social knitting, or sorry, crochet. And the end is done with one simple row of strategically placed pinpointing on a row of single crochet. The free pattern will be available on my website on Monday. And also to mention, my company is the only yarn company that gives a free pot of Rapture with every yarn purchase. Rapture is an all-natural, no-rinse delicate wash that is perfect for washing all of your delicates. If you have any questions, please leave them in the live broadcast or in the recording of this. I'm happy to help you in any way I can to learn how to beautifully block your projects. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.